Hi, everyone. Just waiting a few moments. Hey. Oh my gosh. Just waiting for Lizzie to get on, and then we're going to dive right into the Q&A. She'll be here any moment. Well, happy Friday, everyone. I guess I'll get started while we wait for Lizzie to get on. So over the last 10, 11 days, we've had a lot of fun traffic on our socials due to some Amish content, which just like has been the most fascinating thing ever. Yes, it's a 40-ounce cup, big cup. So over the last week and a half or so, I met Lizzie on the internet. Lizzie is an ex-Amish. I guess we'll, once she jumps on, we'll talk, a little bit about that. And we got a lot of questions. I posted a Q&A box, just having her, questions ready for her. And so now I'm just sending her an invite to get on. Let's see. Oh, there you are. Okay. I haven't done a live in a really long time. Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
It is going. It is happy
Friday.
Is it a spicy one today? Hold on. I feel like I need to
I gotta situate myself because I have not gone live in a very long time.
Yeah. And Instagram is different than some of the other platforms.
Yeah.
So hold on. Let me prop myself up a bit because I need to
wearing pink.
It's a pink Friday.
I love this.
You see my my pink slippers?
Oh, I saw them on your story. That was amazing.
I'm like, nobody knows, but now you know.
Well, I'm wearing athleisure.
It's a little bit of granola and a little bit of crunchy. Welcome, you guys.
So happy.
I see some of my people on here. There's probably some of your people on here. So this is amazing.
I see some of my people. My dad's asking about my Stanley Cup. So
did you get the Starbucks Stanley craze, or did you just do the Stanley?
I've had a Stanley for many years now. Before the craze and just before Christmas, my mom was like, "Have you heard of a Stanley Cup? I want to get you one for Christmas." And I'm just like, "Here."
I don't have one of those. There's someone on here from Norway.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
All right.
Okay, I have the questions in front of me because I was like, I need to organize myself. You've answered these questions 100,000 times over again, so nothing is going to be out of the ordinary. But like what I have learned over the last 10 to 12 days of craziness is people really don't know about Amish culture at all.
Yeah, certain parts of the world. Yeah. Certain parts of the world.
Yeah. So we're like we're pushing over 12.5 million views on our Amish content over the last 10 days. So like, we need to do something. And I mean, I've been to Amish country a couple of times. Our close family friend lived in Ohio. We would visit her.
Oh, were you in Amish country in Ohio?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
She lived in Cleveland, and then we would drive like way out. I was so young that I remember certain things. Like I remember it being like I felt like I went back in time, and I remember the food being good, but I don't really I didn't speak to anyone. So I didn't really, have I've had experience with the Amish, and now I get my raw milk in Florida from Amish people. When I'm in New York, we get it from Mennonites, but yeah, so it's just been so fascinating because now it's like making me kind of want to go back to Ohio and just like see the Amish.
We'll go to Holmes County, Ohio
Yeah,
together,
yeah.
and I'll show you
Go
some
show me
things.
the
Yeah,
road. All
yeah.
right, so I guess the first question is, where in the United States do the Amish live, and then where did you grow up?
So the Amish actually are pretty spread out.
Mm-hmm.
They can be in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, Maryland, Minnesota. Like they're really pretty widespread. And now actually I'm in Arizona, and there's actually certain parts of Arizona that some not my Amish, but some Amish will come here for the winter. Because that's something that the old order and the new order do quite a bit, is they'll like go to Florida
Over.
for winter, visit there because it's warm.
Yeah.
But where I'm from, no, like we weren't allowed to do that. So I grew up in Ohio, in Stark County, Ohio, but it was the strictest form
Mm-hmm.
of the Amish community, and so we weren't allowed to go to. I had never been to a beach until after I left. Never even seen the ocean.
Wow.
So that's not something that we were allowed to do.
So
So that's a difference.
I have other questions, but I got to ask this one. So how do they transport themselves to be snowbirds if they don't fly? I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I really like I need
The
to know.
old order and the new order, like I know that some of them will hire
Oh,
drivers, like they'll like get into like a 15 passenger van and they drive from Ohio to Florida. Some people take the train to places, some people take buses
oh.
to places. So like where I'm from, if they travel from state to state, they may use like a Greyhound bus or a charter bus.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So then next question was, do the Amish really use no electricity or plumbing at all?
So I'm going to speak for my order of
Okay.
Amish. Where I'm from, correct. We did not have electricity. We didn't have any like indoor plumbing. So like we had
Yeah.
outhouses for our. It's not even considered a bathroom because you can't
Right.
take a bath. And so that's the difference. Like I'm from the strictest form of Amish community, whereas if you were to go to Holmes County, Ohio, or
Right.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where there's old order, new order.
Mm-hmm.
The new order, some new order actually have electricity, but the old order don't. But they do have indoor plumbing, so they may use other types of technology to get plumbing into
Wow.
the house. So they have their showers, they have their restroom, their bathrooms. They use, I believe they use gas, like gas powered lines.
Oh,
Um, and I don't know, like some of them might be doing solar now. I'm not sure because I don't live
true.
there, but that is something that could be happening as well.
True. Okay, so then back to the plumbing thing, just for your order where you were, do you like you had to get water from like a well? Is that how you got water?
Yeah, so we had wells in that were like by our our
Yeah.
buildings, and then some of them use windmills to
Oh,
uh like run the windmill for the water, and we had a rainwater well that was right by our house and our washroom, and so then you use the old-fashioned pumps. Actually, it's really funny that you brought that up because
I'm like so
some
excited.
I have a little pump in front of me. I'll show you because I bought this to show people, and I haven't done it yet. But this is what our pumps look like.
Oh my God.
So this is how you pump water.
And then, oh my gosh. I know it's like I shouldn't be shocked by this, but still I like how you felt when you were reading the English society. I'm just going to use the word English. I mean,
English. Are you from England?
are you American? And they're just like, we're Amish girls. But I guess that like segues me into the next part is, what was it like to leave the Amish? Like,
Yeah, so
yeah.
where I'm from, like we don't have Rumspringa, so the old order and the new order have Rumspringa, so they're allowed to, for the most part, they're allowed to go, hey, Anna. They're allowed to go do Rumspringa and experience the modern
Right.
world, the English world, for a bit, and drive cars, dress in, modern clothing and all of that.
Wow.
But we weren't allowed to do that. So for me, when I left, I literally like ran away. I escaped. I
Yeah.
jumped off a 15-foot roof at 10 o'clock at night
Great.
to escape like the whole
Yeah.
family and the community. And so it was a clear cut. Like when I decided to leave, it was like, all right, like I gotta like leave everything behind and move forward. And so I did that with, I didn't have a social security number. I only had $20 in my pocket when I like left. I had the clothes that I was wearing. I didn't have a job, never had a job in my
Is
life. So when I left, that's what I had. I had $20 in my pocket and the clothes I was wearing, and I was like, I don't want to wear these clothes anymore.
um,
Um, and I didn't have anything else lined up. I just knew that I needed to, and we don't have time to go into all of that,
right.
but that's like this really, really
Like
short
end
snippet.
version. That is so. Oh my God. That is like. I applaud you for it though, because I think that, I mean, I'm a woman of faith. I believe that God was calling you to kind of, bring certain traditions into your new world, which we'll talk about with Miss Commando at the end,
Yes.
the Q&A. But I have it with me and I used it last night and I'm so excited to talk about it. But we'll get into the next question. What religion do the Amish practice?
So it's a little bit of a couple things.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like the Amish religion.
Right,
So they do believe in God and they do teach about God, but they more or less teach God as like the person that is up in the sky, like ready to beat you over the head if you do something
right,
wrong, you don't follow the orders of the church.
right.
A lot of the rules of the church aren't actually biblical. It's very much based off of Old Testament. So the reason that women aren't allowed to cut their hair is because somewhere there's one place in the Old Testament that it says women shouldn't cut their
Yeah,
hair. So that's what they teach. Now there are some that are actually born again Christians now, and like they understand that, and so if they become Christians like that, um, they choose to stay there because they like that way of living,
right.
regardless
Um,
of the rules and regardless of whether or not they agree with all of the rules of the church and that the community puts out there. But I like to think that it's part a way of
yeah,
living, and then the other part is they do believe in God. It's just
right.
a different way.
That's so interesting. Totally kind of like off topic, but as you were talking, I had this like visual, and you've probably seen it before. It's this like hyperlapse, maybe you haven't, maybe I'm crazy. This hyperlapse like video of Amish building a barn in a single day. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah, I was in those. I was present for those.
Does that really
Yes,
happen?
it happens.
Day?
Yeah.
Get out.
No, 100%. So the men come, so you have, several hundred men come together. They raise the barn. Their men are doing the barn raising and, doing all that stuff. And the
Yeah,
women are in the house and they're cooking all the food to feed the men.
that that is unbelievable. And
Hmm.
like not small barns.
No.
That blows my mind. Okay. Now I'm gonna get into some of the comments from our posts. I'm gonna be careful about words that I use, so I might, like bleep out certain words. Okay. The first one, I'm gonna read the comment and then I'll ask the question. Amish don't pay taxes, Amish don't get arm things, and don't support a big giant conglomerate that does corn. Amish don't pasteurize their food. So do the Amish use pesticides and pasteurization in their farming practices or no?
We didn't pasteurize anything. So like we milked our own
Yeah.
cows and I mean pasteurization, there's
Yeah.
there's several different ways of doing that. But we had our own cows, milked our own
Yeah.
cows by hand. I actually like got carpal tunnel in my wrists from milking so many cows. That's why I got like really strong hands.
Yeah.
And and so that all of that's fresh and raw. We made our own butter, did our own things there, and then we raised all of our own farm animals and eggs and chickens and all of that. We had our own orchard, our own vegetable garden. Do they use pesticides?
Okay.
Sometimes. Um, but what I will tell you is that I was having this conversation with someone the other day, and I said, you literally won't get any meat that really tastes any better than the way that they grow their own meat because of how they raise it and how they grow it, even though it may not be. Not there are some Amish organic farms.
Yeah.
I have a twin sister, and she's still Amish, and her husband actually have an organic farm
Mm.
in like the Medina area of Ohio. So there are some farms like that. We were not technically organic, but I will tell you though, like there's still a massive difference
Yeah.
between that food that you get than the food that you get at the grocery store. And part of that reason is because of how they grow and raise their
Yeah.
stuff, but also they allow their fruits and vegetables to be ripened on the vine
Yeah.
instead of picking it green and then shipping it. Like the time frame there is so much different. So that's why it will taste even
Yeah.
better because it had that time and it allotted that time.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah, I get so down in Florida, I don't know where it comes from. Like I think there's some Amish in South Florida, not South Florida, in Florida, bring it to South Florida, but I also know that from up north, they literally hire someone to just drive a refrigerated truck once a week to South Florida to get us our raw milk. So I know my raw milk comes from some Amish somewhere. I don't know where, but that is awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna get into the next one. Okay, no buttons, only pins, no hot water unless you boil it, no electricity, but you can use trains and commute. I are okay. Okay, so I'm gonna break this down a couple questions because it's kind of just like a lot. So what is, and maybe you know this, maybe you don't, and I still don't understand this, but what is the purpose of no buttons and just only using pins?
So there are some.
Okay.
So there's our coats had hook and eye.
Oh,
You know what a
got
hook and eye is? So coats had hook and eyes, and then young kids from like baby to like the girls until like the age of 8 or 9,
yeah.
they have dresses that have the buttons. So they'll have buttons with and I used to sew the holes for the buttons and sew the
Yeah.
buttons on. So like I can sew, you guys.
Oh,
Um
I mean, make your own dresses. Like I was looking at some,
yeah.
like you're making your own dresses. That is unbelievable.
Yeah. So they do have that, and then once the girls turn 8 or 9, they start wearing dresses with the pins, and they have little safety pins for the underdresses, and then they have straight pins for the outer dresses. And then if you had, there's a couple things that we would have buttons,
Okay.
but the men don't use pins. So the men have the
Uh,
buttons.
uh,
They have the hooks and eyes and then the buttons. But the women
uh,
have the straight pins or the safety pins, the adult women,
yeah.
and then the young kids have the buttons and hook and eyes.
So did you wear like the same outfit every day? I know this sounds so ignorant. It's just people don't know. Like, did you wear the same outfit every day?
No. Well, okay, let me back up a little bit. So we
Yeah.
typically wore the same
Yeah.
dress for a week,
Okay.
and then unless it was summer and it was like really dirty and we're like working in the gardens and outside a lot and we got like really dirty, then midweek we would change our
Yeah.
dress. But in general, we would have one dress for a week.
Oh my gosh. And then you would do, obviously you would do laundry the traditional way. But
Yeah,
okay.
we laundry day was every
Oh my,
Monday.
My
and yeah, every Monday, and you wash your laundry the traditional. Now we did have like a washing machine, but it was run by a motor
right.
that was gassed with gasoline.
Okay, that makes sense. At least you had that,
Yeah,
and you were
that was like the
like.
that was like as high as we could go for technology.
I love this. Okay, so then with all of the pins and everything, how long did it take you to get ready in the morning? Like, how long did it take you to get dressed?
Uh, Typical morning. I mean, under 30 minutes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Got like in a routine, like,
Listen, you just like do that in your
yeah,
sleep. You're just like used to it. You're gonna prick yourself a little bit here and there along the way. If you ever want to watch me like put an entire
I
dress
watched
on, like
the church one.
yeah, yeah. There's a church one, and then there's one other one, but the church one is like super. That's like that takes longer.
Yeah.
That one maybe an hour, like that,
Oh,
because you have to. I always cared about what I looked like, so like I put a lot of time in to make sure everything was where it was supposed to
yeah.
be. So
Yeah, but
yeah.
I watched, I was like scrolling because I watched the church one. I was so fascinated by this. I'm like, how long? And listen, I can get ready pretty quickly, but I'm a little bit of a diva. So, like, I like my makeup. I like,
No
but
way.
an hour, oh my God, that is crazy. Um, okay, then that leads me to sleeping. So, what were your sleep clothes like, especially in the winter since you didn't have heat?
We had what was called an underdress,
Okay.
and so that underdress was
Oh,
our.
that just did a
Ooh,
thumbs up.
ooh. How did that happen?
I love that.
I we wore an underdress, so
Okay.
we would wear an underdress, and so we wore actually two dresses in the winter.
Oh,
So we had under that. That's what would help keep us warm.
yeah.
And so that underdress is what helped us, or what was our dress to go to sleep.
But
And then
it was
heat wise, like what we have wood burning stoves,
okay.
so what we would do is just open the vents, and the heat from the first floor would rise
Oh,
and go to the upstairs. But it did get really, really cold. Like
yeah.
I remember waking up in the middle of the
Yeah.
winter, or middle of the night, or get up in the morning, and it was like 0 degrees outside, and you like wake up and you have to like get out of bed, and it's
Freeze.
so freaking cold. You could like see your breath,
Yeah.
like it was that cold. Then you have to like get dressed.
And there's like what, 18 of you?
Yeah, there's 18. There was 19 of us kids.
Oh my. That is so awesome though. Like I
Yeah.
thought my dad is one of 8 and I think that's a lot and then I hear you're one of 19 and I'm just like
Oh yeah,
that is
and our light. So this is like a traditional lantern.
it's so
So this is a tiny one to show, like, but we use these for light in the
oh
barn. So
my
this
gosh.
little
Had
piece,
Paris,
yeah, this little piece right here gets filled with kerosene.
yeah.
Then there's a wick in there. Yeah, and this comes out. This would come out. So this little piece right here, you pull it up, and
Hmm.
it takes these out. So every Saturday we would have to clean the
Oh
lanterns,
wow.
lanterns, and fill them up with kerosene
So
and stuff.
no, so then when you would boil water, like you have like a fire, or did you have the wood burning
Wood
stove
burn,
and then
yeah,
it would boil?
wood burning stove, and you put tea kettles on there. Or in our washroom we had a big cast iron kettle, and so if
Oh
we needed to, so like to take a bath on Saturday nights,
yeah,
we would fill up that kettle with water, heat it up, and that's what we used
this,
for our bath.
this is so crazy. I mean, it's not crazy, it's just different. Like that's what I try and keep telling myself is like, just because it's not what I'm used to doesn't mean that it's crazy. It's just so vastly different
Yeah.
what we're used to in, the rest of America. Okay, so then the next question was because because one of them, I think her name was Maureen from the episode, saying "Holy crap" about the milk and about the eggs, and she would just get chickens rather than turning them.
She's like, I would just get chickens.
I would just get chickens. Why would you spend that much for eggs? Or like pre-cut vegetables? That is so lazy. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. It is. But the question was, since when do Amish people curse? So in the grocery store, she said, "Holy crap!" Is that normal? Or are they like, no, no, no cursing? I wouldn't consider the word crap cursing. It's someone's name, but like,
I mean, I wouldn't consider that cursing, but no, we weren't allowed to curse.
but I feel like that's normal anyway. It's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, we also weren't allowed to whistle on a Sunday, so.
What? Wait, why?
You know what? I need to do a little bit of more research on that to actually understand why
Okay.
that is. But
Table that. I lived in Lancaster. One of the biggest misconceptions about the Amish is that they only grow their own food and only eat healthy food. Not true at all. Amish would pay English for a ride to the Aldi in a car, and they would buy carts full of food. So, okay, my question from about this, because a lot of people were saying, oh, well, the Amish go to Walmart, they go to this store, they go to this store, which I'm sure because the show was scripted, we know it. But if the Amish are not allowed to drive cars or use electricity and a telephone, how do you get in contact with an Amish taxi driver to pick you up?
so we're talking about a completely different sect.
Okay.
That is the Lancaster Old Order, New Order
Okay.
Amish, and they do that. They have little phone jacks in the corners of their communities.
Oh.
They can go use that phone to call their driver. If they have a business, they're allowed to have a phone. Where I'm from, we weren't even allowed to have drivers. The only time we were allowed to like go to our neighbor and say, hey, we need to go somewhere by car is if it was an emergency. That was it.
And then they get, so was your neighbor like an English neighbor that would call?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense.
So
Okay.
like there was a couple times that something happened like with my mom and she had to like take the ambulance to the hospital. And so all my dad would do is he would have to run to the neighbors and be like, hey, I need to use your phone to call 911. And that was our only way of calling 911.
And imagine if you didn't have someone near you that had a telephone. That's wow. That's wild.
So we had really awesome neighbors.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. The Amish around here go to the stores all the time. They smoke, they drink, they change clothes, and go to bars. I don't know if I buy all of that, but
No,
I'm sure there was some.
that's like Old Order, New Order, and they're probably in Rumspringa.
Yeah, because it's like I was wondering. I mean, because one thing that I was curious about was, I mean, besides the drinking, because I know that's its own area, but like smoking, I think of like people, and this sounds, I don't mean this like negatively, but like the 1800s people smoked, like, and the Amish look like they're in the 1800s.
Yeah, they're like
So
stuck in the 1800s.
okay.
So where I'm from, the men were actually allowed to smoke
Okay,
cigars and pipes,
that's
but
what I was wondering because
but not cigarettes. But
yeah,
we were not allowed to drink alcohol.
of course, yeah, I figured that
Have
because
you seen my beach wine story?
no. Oh, I gotta check this out.
It's honestly, I posted it probably like 2 years ago, so it's buried.
Oh, I
So I probably like need
out.
to repost
Yeah,
it.
I have to check this out. But I like because I imagine like one of the Amish men in like a little top hat with a pipe, and I'm like, there's no way that they don't smoke. Like, I could see a guy on his porch.
Hey, they they had to keep some tradition alive, and
Exactly.
part of that was the
That's what
pipe.
I'm saying. So I'm like, huh, maybe there is some truth to that, but I don't think that they're going out and getting drunk at the bars. That would be
That's debatable.
well, some of them. But okay, then the next one was before I get into that question, so because your order was very strict or the strictest, then when was the first time you went to a store? Was it when you left?
So no, so my grocery store specifically.
Yeah.
My dad used to shop at Aldi.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was a grocery store close to us that was called Save a Lot,
Yeah.
and then there was one called Aldi. And it was a really, really big deal for us to be allowed to go. Like some of my favorite memories are being allowed to go with my dad to the grocery store
Wow.
and go buy cornflakes and Cheerios, and yeah, we do eat cereal, and sugar and flour and those types of things. So I that was like a highlight, like massive highlight. So yeah, we did that, and then there was actually a Walmart that went up in, I don't know, the last 5 6 years that I was at home, not far
Yeah.
from me, and so we ended up like starting to go to
Oh,
Walmart.
interesting. And like Walmarts that are out in, the big ones, have you seen? They're like a they have a hair salon, a nail salon, Chris. I did a service trip in the middle of Mississippi, like in the deep south, just after Hurricane Katrina. And I went to the Walmart and I was like, we don't have Walmarts like this in New York. Because I was living in New York at the time. We didn't have a Walmart like this. It is like it's like a grand central, everything you need. There's a doctor in there, like, oh my
Really?
gosh, unbelievable. So there's some Walmarts that, I mean, everything you need is, I mean, besides like what your typical Walmart has, I mean, they had a doctor in there. It was
Wow,
wild.
that's really, really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
we didn't go to the doctor at Walmart.
Oh no. Okay, before I get into the next one, did you go to the doctor at all?
Not really, no. Wouldn't consider this a doctor, but there was a chiropractor that we would see
Right.
sometimes. And so that was like, as there was a couple of times that some incidents happened to me and I should have gone to the doctor, but like they wouldn't take me to the doctor.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So they kind of like it, going to the doctor is sort of like last minute resort. Like
mhm.
if you're have a broken bone, or we're like, hey, there's something really serious going on here that you could die, like that's like they wait. Sometimes they wait too long.
Wow. That's
Yeah. I had never like been to a like actual doctor growing
until
up
you left.
until after I left.
Wow. That must have been an
Yeah, the
experience going.
only medical record that I had when I left was the medical record from the time from when I was born.
So when you were born, was it like a home birth situation?
No, they have what's called birthing
Okay.
centers.
So got
So
it.
a lot of them go to birthing centers. Some of them do home birth, but most of them go to birthing
Okay.
centers because it's a really, really like private thing for them.
Yeah, of course. And like, I mean, I'm not like ballerina farm where I give birth in front of my kids. Like, that's like a very, I don't know how I'm gonna be. I might be a little crazy. I might be cursing, so I can't have that.
As long as you're not in front of the Amish, you're fine.
Exactly. The next one is, why do they sound like that? So I think what he meant to say was, there's an accent. So can you talk about the different languages that the Amish speak or what they speak at home?
Yeah, we speak Pennsylvania Dutch.
It's awesome.
So, yeah, Pennsylvania Dutch is the first language, and then we learn English when we go to school. So that's where the accent is from, and its own dialect. But there's crossovers between German and
Yeah.
Dutch or Swiss Deutsch. Like there's so many crossovers. So people like I sometimes I post videos where I'm speaking the Pennsylvania Dutch language,
Yeah.
and I have people all over the world that comment on it, and there's people that are German that understand
Yeah.
everything, and then there's people that are German that understand nothing. Vice versa in the Dutch arena as well, like people that speak Dutch or Deutsch.
Yeah.
They like it depends on where you're at. So there's different parts of the world that will understand the language and then others won't. So that's where that
I
stems from.
I watched one of the videos, and honestly, like, so I studied Latin for 10 years, very, very versed in Romance languages just from that Latin base. But so I don't know like Dutch, I don't know German, but when you were speaking in some of the videos, some of the words sounded like English.
Yeah, I might have like had to mix some English in because I've
Yeah.
lost a little bit of it.
Oh, yeah, because you're getting day in and
I
day
can
out.
I've been gone for 20 years. Sometimes when I go home to see my mom, I'm like, wait, I forgot what that word is.
Oh my.
And then I just throw in the English word.
And it's not like you can go on Duolingo because they're not on technology.
I'm like, hey mom, can I just speak English? And she's like, nope, gotta
Oh,
speak your original.
no.
And she will only speak Pennsylvania
Oh,
Dutch to me.
that is amazing. Oh my God.
It's good for me.
Yeah, that is good. Because you go like, oh my God, there was one question just came in. I don't know if we can talk about this. I'm going to ask it. How did you learn about the birds and bees? Did your
Well,
parents talk about it?
I mean, we knew about the birds and the bees because we grew up on a farm. It's part
Yeah.
of nature. You just know.
You just know it's intuitively something that you just
Part
know.
of the
Um,
environment.
yeah. And then the last one was, so do people really not know about the Amish? And then I guess like my note on that was, I mean, we talked about this in the beginning. Some people tuned in, after we got started, but like the Amish are in the United States, and a lot of Americans really don't know about Amish culture. I think that it's so fascinating because, a lot of these people don't know. They're like arguing in the comments about what Amish like can and can't do, and like I'm like, maybe you want to check her profile because I she knows a lot better than you. So when you like went out, and I'm just gonna say to the English world for lack of a better word, um, did you were people like, was the whole like process for you very shocking to just go from living a very traditional Amish lifestyle to, oh my gosh, there's so many stores, there's so many people? Like, first of all, where did you even leave for, like, where did you go to when you first left? Like, did you stay in Ohio? Did you go to a city? Like, do you kind of get what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, so I grew up in Stark County,
okay.
Ohio, but Holmes County, Ohio is like the hub of Amish country.
Okay.
Like that's where the Old Order, New Order are, and that's the biggest tourist attraction in Ohio for Amish country. So I actually I grew up in Stark, and then after I left, I lived in Holmes County for a while.
Yeah.
And yes, there's a massive culture shock, but the reality is there were still a lot of either former Amish or Amish people around me.
Yeah.
So I ended up like after a couple of years, I was like, wait, I can't go where I want to go. I can't learn what I want to learn. I need to align myself with people that don't come from the Amish community.
Right.
So I started to do that, and it's very, very uncomfortable because when you start doing that, you start to realize, like, oh crap, like there's
Like,
a lot that I don't know. And so I
yeah.
faked a lot of things until I was like, okay, like I need to educate myself on these specific things. So it was difficult because I did start to realize how little I knew,
Yeah.
but I think in some ways that helped me too, because I wasn't being held back by my own
Yeah.
thoughts of like
Yeah.
fear, and I just went for it. But I will say this, like if you grow up in Ohio,
Yeah.
in those surrounding areas, like you're gonna know about the
Right.
Amish. It's inevitable. You just are.
Yeah.
But I ended up moving to Arizona after like 10 or 12 years or so,
Uh-huh.
and it moved out west. And when I moved to Arizona, that's when I started to realize how many people don't know about the Amish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I would run into people all the time that were like, wait, what's Amish? And I'm like,
They
oh, this is a whole different arena. So it was fun for me because after I moved here, I realized I can actually like start educating and teaching people,
yeah.
which is then when I took it to social media,
Hmm.
and then I realized that people all over the world
It's
are like
so
fascinated by this, and they're just like gobbling it
it
up. So now there's still people that are like, what's Amish? I actually ran into someone just
yeah.
in this last year. I ran into someone, and they were asking about my accent or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I grew up Amish, and they're like, what's Amish? And I was like, all right.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't, okay. it shocks me that they don't know what Amish is. I understand if they don't understand what I'm just going to call it a culture, what the culture entails. Like, I get that, but like, it's just like, it just shocks me so much. I was in Indy for a conference in this past summer, and I went to a normal coffee shop, and right next to the coffee shop was like I don't want to call it an Amish bakery because it was in the middle of Indianapolis, but it was like an Amish style bakery, and you go in and then they had a whole wall of like Amish goods and whatnot. And so I could see there, like, even if the people never leave the city of Indianapolis, like, they're familiar with the Amish. Yeah. Where I'm in Miami, like, we don't have Amish, but people in my raw dairy ring definitely know what the Amish are because the carton of raw milk says Amish milk on it. But I love what you've done, and that's the question. So I'm kind of just going to segue into these amazing products. I love what you've done with, bringing, some of your Amish roots into the modern world. So like, when did you launch Miss Commando?
Just a couple months ago.
What?
Mm-hmm.
No way. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to quickly show you one of the soaps. So I got 2 soaps yesterday and a balm. Is this the balm? Yeah, the balm, which I'll show right now. And I showed it on my stories yesterday. And this lotion, which is like butter.
Oh, and yeah, it's like the best stuff ever.
When I open this, I'm like, I feel like I could eat it.
I know. Wait, which scent did you get?
This one I got cherry almond.
Oh yeah, that one does smell like you want to eat it.
It literally, like, I put it on my wrist, and then I went into the other room to hand the mail to my husband, and Albert goes, "You smell amazing. What's that?" And I'm like, "What? Do I not smell amazing on other days?"
No, because you weren't a commando yet.
A commando. So I tried the lavender soap last night. I don't have it with me because it's in my shower right now. But I would love for you to talk about, 1, why you started this, and 2, the ingredients, including where you get your ingredients from, because I find it so fascinating.
Yes. So just to show you what I have to show you what I have in front of me, because I feel like I'm supposed to play Chenka with this, but this is what this looks like.
Oh yeah.
Look at this beautiful.
I love that. Which one? So I see the coffee, I see the lavender, I see, what is that, rose?
We have rose, eucalyptus, mint, oats and honey, lavender. Cupid's Kiss is our Valentine's scent, and then it smells amazing. And then we have vanilla bean and black cherry.
Nice.
Yes. So Miss Commando is, in short, a non-toxic beauty company for your skin. And I've been working in the health and wellness industry for over 10 years. I'm a functional nutrition coach. And I specialize in the hormones and thyroid, which has to do with your endocrine system. And so what you put on your skin, which you can attest to this, matters so much, because whatever you put on your skin, your body has to detox and methylate through your liver and your endocrine system and all of those things. And so I've been on this journey for years and used all kinds of non-toxic products because I really care about what's on my skin. But with that being said, I wanted something that is more simple and clean and brings in like the backstory of where I'm from. Yeah. And something that women can just go to a website and look at the product, read the ingredients, and be like, I actually know what's in this.
Exactly.
And also really high quality. So the name of the company is called Miss Commando, and these are actually goat soaps. And we have two goat farms in Michigan that where we get our goat milk from. And then the ladies that have the goat farms, they actually make the products for me. So we have the goat soaps, and then we have the goat lotions, and we have a shea butter as well. And I'm telling you, like, I cannot brag about this product enough. We have so many customers that they use the product for the first time, and within the next week they're coming back for more
Yeah.
because of very specific skin issues that they're having. So what makes this so good is we use less than 10 ingredients in our products, and we don't add in any kind of toxins. We're not adding in a bunch of chemicals. And what the reason for that is we don't want it to be affecting your endocrine system. Your endocrine system has everything to do with your thyroid and your hormones, which is the field that I work in with my other business that I have. And so this is not doing that. Now they do smell amazing, but we use phthalate free and paraben free types of products, so we're not adding those types of things. So
Yeah.
that is, and then we use really good oil. So we use coconut oil,
Yeah.
castor oil, olive oil, and what makes it even better is I wanted vitamin E in it, because vitamin E is one of the most underrated vitamins when it comes to your overall health, but also
Yeah.
your skin, for inflammation and for healing purposes. And I believe that that's why one of the reasons why people have such great success when they use it for very specific skin issues like psoriasis, eczema,
Yeah.
rosacea. It can help with those things. And you can just go read our reviews on our website. Like,
Yeah.
you'll read those reviews. And so that is Ms. Commando in a nutshell.
I'm so glad you did this too, because I've talked about my endometriosis journey, which I won't get into now because we'll be here all day. But 10 years ago, when I was working on Wall Street, I was very stressed, and I had my first eczema flare that I ever had. I didn't even know that I had eczema. And it took me leaving the city to basically get rid of my eczema. I needed to reduce my stress. I tried everything, or at least I thought I tried everything. And then fast forward 10 years later, about a year ago, we were having, some stressful situations in our life. And I had literally a year-long eczema flare on both of my wrists. Now they're gone, but over the holidays, I started seeing it, like, kind of wanting to peak out again because stressful time. And now it's not, thank God. But I wish I knew about this like a year ago, because I would have been using now I'm going to use it all the time, even as preventative measures. But I'm going to talk about, how, like, on my socials, as this continues, is, how good it is for your skin. You mentioned too that the goat's milk that you use is the same pH as your skin.
Yeah, so the goat milk is extremely good for your skin and your health overall. Like, I'm a huge fan of goat products, but the pH of goat milk is the same pH as human skin.
That's incredible.
And so, like, I have customers. There's a husband and wife that started using these products, and the husband was in the military, and he they have these burn piles where they burn their burn pits.
Right.
And when you get exposed to that, there's a lot of chemicals that can really affect your skin. So sometimes when these men come back, they have major skin issues because of the chemicals that, like, burnt their skin. And so they had tried all kinds of other products, even other goat products.
Wow.
And it sort of, like, helped, but didn't. And they said that this is the first product that they've used that it, like, completely cleared up his skin. And he's been using all three of the products.
And this is raw goat's milk too, so it's
coming straight from the farm, and then we use it, to make our soaps are cured for 4 to 6 weeks.
So awesome.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the ingredients in this soap. Like, I'm so excited to try the coffee one. The coffee one I'm gonna do in the morning, like when I'm showering in the morning.
Yeah, it's like a little exfoliations. It's like one of my favorite ones. Yeah, I have that one too.
Do you have a favorite scent? I don't even want to use scent because I feel like that's not the right word. A favorite. It's not a flavor, even though I want to eat it.
Flavor. We can call it flavor. For the lotion, rose, but I'm a huge rose fan. So rose is most likely always going to be my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
But soaps, I'm indifferent. Like, coffee was my favorite for a long time, but now we've come out with our black cherry, and we also have a rose soap now as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I just released this one today,
Oh,
actually. But the black cherry, it smells so amazing. But I'm actually really, really big fan of the Cupid's Kiss from our Valentine's scent because it has
my God.
it's like notes of floral, but then it ends with like a little musky note. And I'm a huge, huge fan of musky. So this one is like I just love the scent
You're
of that one.
you're gonna have to take it off limited edition and maybe end up
I
keeping
know. Maybe it becomes the Miss Commando scent.
exactly.
Yeah, it really the exclusive Miss Commando scent because really what it reminds me of is notes of femininity and strength combined.
Oh,
So that is the
yeah.
that is the whole theme of Miss Commando is like you're commanding back your health. The other part that I didn't share yet is these containers
Yes,
are biodegradable hemp fiber containers.
and they're amazing.
And yeah, and these boxes are biodegradable hemp fiber boxes. So I
Oh,
wanted to hit not only your health from what you're putting on it, but what your stuff is stored in. So you're not using chemicalized plastics and all the BPA and that stuff. But
right.
also, it's good for the environment because let's
Yeah,
be honest, our environment's getting way too full of trash, and
100%.
we're
And our
hitting both ends.
it's becoming a problem.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
Ridiculous.
they're
I
just
think.
really cool.
Oh, well, they actually, I actually like the material better than plastic.
Yes.
Obviously, plastic is bad for you, but like, say it wasn't. Like, I actually really like how it feels.
Yeah.
And it's just so easy to use. I read somewhere that the average person has like a credit card's worth of microplastics in their body, and I'm just like, oh no,
Probably
I am,
more.
yeah, probably more, but don't quote me on that. I'm not a doctor. Do your own research. No medical claims here.
These products work for psoriasis. So we do have a lot of people that are using it for that and have had great results. So I always tell people like we don't make any claims, but what I will tell you is our customers speak for themselves and speak volumes, and we do have a lot of people with psoriasis and eczema and like diabetic dry skin, like very specific skin issues that have had massive results for from using these products. So if it were me, I would definitely do it
Yeah,
for
no,
those issues.
and I
Yeah.
actually, I'm glad that that person mentioned psoriasis because there's a few people that I know that suffer with it tremendously, and they
Ooh.
tried everything, but they haven't tried everything.
Yeah, I need to send you a photo of a customer that had like plague
Wow.
psoriasis and like it looked like a tree trunk. Like it was so bad. And she started using the soap every day to wash it. And then she would apply the lotion. And then on top of the lotion, she would do just a little bit of the balm. And within like 2 weeks, almost all of it was gone.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
you definitely send me that because I know people very close to me that could benefit from it tremendously. So, um,
Yeah.
you know, but I think I think that was it. I didn't have any other questions that came in. Is any thoughts? I mean, I'm so excited to do this again, and honestly, like I am so grateful to the interwebs for connecting us because I just so that everyone knows, the first Amish reel that I put out, this was like not planned. It was so on a whim. I was over the like January was a rough month. I was sick, like whatever. So my husband and I were doing a rewatch of the Marvel movies. And so we were like once every night, we're like trying to watch one Marvel movie a night. So I'm like, let me just wash some dishes. And he's like, all right, I'll wait. Let put on a YouTube video while, while you wash the dishes before we start the movie. And the suggested video is Amish girls go to the grocery store. And I was like, washing the dishes. He presses play and they get to the milk aisle. And I said, oh, you got to pull that for me right now. Like, you have to pull this right now. So I did like a downloader and I recorded a lot. It was like almost a live reaction. The reaction video that I posted was the second time I watched this clip. I posted it, and honestly, I tagged you because someone sent me your profile 2 weeks before, and I'm like, oh, this girl is gonna love this. Ex-Amish, seeing Amish people go to a grocery store, and then fast forward 10 days later, here we are. I feel like I've known you my whole life. Like
We're like soul
I
sisters.
know.
I texted Megan the other day, and I'm like, "Are you my soul sister?"
And like I keep forgetting that we met last week, but
No, it's awesome.
at some point. And I look forward to, sharing our stories again on here with the world. And so thank you for taking the time for questions for all of the curious people out there that had no
Yeah,
idea.
hopefully this answers a lot of
Yeah,
questions, and obviously, if you save this and put it on your profile, I'm sure
yeah.
people will rewatch it and have more questions. So
And
yeah,
if you
that's
want,
awesome.
Ando, send me a DM and I will point you in the right direction.
Yeah, Megan has a discount code for you guys. So you have it in your
Yep.
profile, right?
And it's Meg 10, but if you can't find it, just send me a message. I have it on my website. I have it on my highlights. I think it's 10% off, and it's amazing. So I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Awesome.
This was awesome.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.